Hey guys, Pedro here to tell you about the latest from Laurenne, Louhimo, Falling Through Stars, out April 18th on Frontiers Music. The album has 11 tracks, 43 minutes in length, and this is the Finnish duo's second full-length studio album. Now, if you're not familiar with the duo, this is Nora from Battle Beast and Netta from Smackbound. They have this project together, and like I said, this is their sophomore record. Now, for this sophomore record, they approached it completely different actually from the debut album. I feel like this is a more organic sounding record. It's a more organic record all around. It just feels more natural. It feels like it has more of them. And when you look at the design of this album, even the design is very intelligent in how it was approached. The album has a lot of different styles. It's not a record that feels uniform from both a musical perspective or a vocal perspective. It's an album that changes almost on a song-by-song basis. Now, there are some commonalities between some of the songs, and the commonalities are the influences or the decades or the time period that you could really pinpoint as the main influence of where that song is going. Outside of that, you also have the vocal performance. The vocals become the red line, the consistent red line that connects all 11 songs together. So when you're putting a record that has these parameters together, creating a track listing, I think you have to be conscious of that. And the more you separate the songs that have commonalities, the better the experience becomes. You're able to kind of reset your palette with a different style, with a different song, with a different sound, before you go back to a song that has some familiarities. So by that point, the song doesn't sound as familiar anymore. Maybe in your subconscious it's still familiar, but it's not necessarily as familiar anymore because you've gone through two different types of tracks with different sounds, with different textures that kind of reset where you're going with this album. This makes the overall record more engaging, more entertaining, and obviously increases the playability of the album if you decide to listen to the record all the way through. Now, as far as the sound is concerned, I first want to touch on the production of the record, because I think the production on this album surpasses the production on the debut record as well. It's an album that has a lot more life, it has a lot more energy. Like I said, it's a lot more organic, and that starts with the sound and it ends with the vocal performance. But the production behind both allows you to see that more organic side of who they are as two individual singers now working as a duet. And you also see it in the sound that comes from behind them, that in my opinion also enhances their own vocal performances a lot better than what we saw on the debut album. The debut album, I felt like, for as good as it was, some songs, they almost try to fit them into the song and not let things grow naturally and feel more like the two are intertwined. On this record, sound-wise, you feel like the singers are more intertwined with the sound, with the experience of the sounds, creating a much richer tapestry all around. And this is also an album that has a lot more of a guitar focus. It's more of a guitar-driven record. And it doesn't matter in which era you go to. You could go into the early 90s, you can go into the 80s, late 80s, early 70s, late 70s. It doesn't really matter. If you're looking for songs that fall within rock, hard rock, metal, regardless of the subgenres, there's always going to be a focus on the guitar sound. The guitar sound was always the main component of every single song. Drums, bass, they were there to complement the sound, to complement the experience, but it was very focused on two elements: the guitar sound, and then obviously on having great vocals and having a great vocal performance. This album does both, and the production enhances both of them. I enjoy the guitars tremendously on this album. The solos sound phenomenal. I love the acoustic guitars. The leads, the melodies, everything surrounding the guitars on this record really shine without taking anything away from the room that the vocalists need to be able to breathe and have their own space. The drums on this record are a little bit more contained. They're a little bit warmer. They fill in the sound really well, but they play a minor role sound-wise compared to what the guitars are offering. And that is totally fine for an album that has this sound, this experience, and these influences. Now, when we get to the vocal performance of Nora and Netta, this is more of a duet. There's not as much of blending the two of them together on songs, becoming almost very difficult to see what one is doing versus what the other one is giving. This album allows you to see their uniquenesses a lot more. Instead of making them feel united as one, I think separating the two creates more of that duet aspect within the record, but it also allows you to see all of their qualities come to the forefront. And when you're able to see both of their qualities individually, when you put them together, that's going to give great quality to the overall record. And that's exactly what you're going to get from this album vocally. There's some incredible songs on this record from a vocal standpoint, where you're really able to see the qualities that they have and that they bring to the table, and that they're able to work with a lot of different genres, or with a lot of different sounds, a lot of different experience, a lot of different influences, and still deliver a great track and a great vocal performance behind it. That is really a testament to how good both of them are, so that they can work with one another without stepping on each other's toes, giving each other enough room in order to really serve these songs in the best way possible. When you start to look at all of these pieces, this album is not just better than the debut record. This album is leaps forward from what the debut record was all about. The debut record was good for a debut album, but it had those kinks that you normally see on debut records. It feels a little bit forced at times, and this one is not. This one feels very natural, very organic, with a production behind it that enhances all of the great attributes that they have. As far as favorite songs are concerned, I have to start with All for Sale. This is one of the most beautiful ballads that I've heard in a very long time. It's an acoustic guitar-led ballad duet with both of their voices just completely mesmerizing the listener. It's a beautiful song, both musically and vocally. Because it's an acoustic guitar-driven song, you really get to see them and hear them. There's nothing hiding. There's nothing there for them to hide behind. So their vocal performance needs to be warmer, more connected. It needs to be more organic with the lyrical content and the mood of the song. And that's exactly what you get out of this track. As the song develops and as you move on, it almost becomes a country ballad. It feels like a country ballad duet. And it works so well, and their voices sound so good on it. It really blew me away. It comes early in the record as far as the track listing is concerned, but it's such a magnificent song, and it really helps also reset the album, creating a nice dip amongst songs that have a lot more of a drive, a lot more of a tempo. So this is, to me, one of the best songs on the record, hands down, and definitely one of the best ballads that I've heard in a very long time. Next we have FTS. It's an interesting song. I like this song because it really feels like giving the finger. It's a song, musically, lyrically, vocally, it's really giving the finger to whoever. And I like the more metal, the more energy, the more drive that this song has, still using synths behind to create a little bit of a bigger sound or a bigger experience. But it's a really interesting song because it depends a lot on the drive and the force of the guitars, and uses the guitars heavily, not necessarily heavy guitar sound, but uses the guitars heavily throughout. It has killer riffage. This track has some really killer guitar riffs, and then it has the vocals doing all the rest of the heavy lifting. I love that the track moves into a very interesting pre-chorus, because the pre-chorus is more melodic, more melancholic, a little bit more mellow. It kills almost the drive of the song coming off the verses, and then it kicks you back into the chorus, making the chorus sound even bigger than what the verses were. So that pre-chorus is really cool because it sets the table for this really interesting, vocally driven, with a lot of cursing style chorus that works amazingly on this track. I really love the energy of the song. Then last but not least, we have Wait. It has a great sound. It has a great atmosphere. It definitely has an 80s vibe. This song definitely has an 80s vibe. I think both musically and vocally, it's almost like an arcade style song that you would listen to when you're playing in the arcade. A little bit of a Stevie Nicks vibe in this track, I would say. But it has also a little bit of a heavier guitar sound, which gives you that more 80s hard rock metal sound to it. So it matches perfectly the more attitude that we see in the vocal performance within this track. The chorus is a little bit brighter, the verses are definitely a little bit darker, and that's the distinction between the two. So you have some internal ebbs and flows within the song, and it's a great track all around. I mean, who doesn't love a good heavy hard rock song from the 80s? This song definitely fits that bill. This is it, Laurenne and Louhimo, Falling Through Stars, once again out April 18th on Frontiers Music. Let me know your thoughts on the duo, on the singles. Hit me up in the comment section. I'll see you all at the next video. Take care, guys.